Memorandum of Association, known as EAOA and EMOA, are filed along with the Spice Plus form. This digital process streamlines the registration entirely. Is there anything else about the filing steps you'd like to explore?
Such other person may be given the right to withdraw his consent.
That is absolutely correct. The person named as the nominee has the right to withdraw their consent at any future date by giving notice in writing to the sole member. Once that happens, the member must nominate another person and file the necessary intimation with the registrar of companies. Are you interested in learning about the timeline for appointing a new nominee?
So the member of office may at any time change the name of such other person by giving notice to the company, and the company shall intimate the same to the registrar.
That is absolutely correct. The sole member of a one-person company has the freedom to change the nominee at any time by providing notice to the company. Following that, the company must file the necessary intimation with the registrar of companies. Would you like to know what specific form is used to notify the registrar about this change?
Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into the ultimate high-tech device. We're talking about a piece of hardware that is so much more advanced than any supercomputer out there. And, well, you're sitting inside it right now. The human body is a literal miracle machine. But here's the catch. Most of us are walking around with a completely misunderstood user manual. Let's actually put that user manual to the test right off the bat with a classic question. How much of your brain would you say you're using right now? Just think about your answer to that for a second and lock it in. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll be busting some myths. Then we'll look at your brain's insane specs, followed by some truly shocking bodily stats. And finally, we'll uncover the hidden math of walking. All right, let's jump straight into part one, busting common body myths. It's really time to toss out that bad user manual filled with all that pseudoscience we've been taught since we were kids. So going back to that question I just asked you, if you thought you only used 10% of your brain, you've definitely fallen for a myth. Reality paints a totally different picture. Modern imaging, stuff like fMRI and PET scans, they prove there's absolutely no magical unused reserve of brain power just sitting there. Every single part has a highly specialized function, and the entire brain is incredibly active, even when you're fast asleep. So no, you aren't leaving 90% of your potential untapped. And hey, speaking of huge misconceptions, let's talk about the whole detox industry for a second. You really do not need those pricey commercial juice cleanses to eliminate toxins. Your biological machine actually comes completely pre-installed with a perfectly optimized waste removal system. Your liver, kidneys, lungs, and skin are highly effective built-in detoxifiers that are just constantly filtering and breaking down waste for you. Let's head to the gym for this next one. The idea that exercise only counts if you sweat? Yeah, totally false. Sweat is really just a thermal regulator. It's there to manage your body temperature, not your calorie burn. So a brisk walk in the cold can burn just as many calories as a hot yoga class. Because at the end of the day, effectiveness depends on your intensity and muscle work, not on how much you're perspiring. Moving right along to part two, the brain's staggering specs. Now that we've cleared out the bad data, let's just marvel at the raw computing power going on inside your skull. Take a look at this number, 20 watts. Your brain runs on a mere 20 watts of power. To put that into perspective, that's literally the equivalent of a dim light bulb. And yet, on that incredibly tiny energy budget, it somehow manages up to 1 quadrillion neural connections. I mean, the efficiency of your biological hardware is just truly staggering. And man, is it fast. Neural impulses can travel at speeds up to 350 miles per hour. When a neuron gets stimulated, that electrical impulse, sending rapid-fire messages all throughout your body, is literally moving faster than a Formula One race car. But, even high-performance machines glitch every now and then. Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. Try saying that 3 times fast. It's quite a mouthful. But it's just the wonderfully complex medical term for what we all know and hate as a brain freeze. It happens when something cold hits receptors in your meninges. That's the brain's outer covering. And it triggers this rapid contraction and dilation of your arteries. Alright, let's zoom out a bit for part 3, numbers that shock you. Let's step back and look at the rest of the machine. Just think about the sheer volume of continuous work your body outputs. Over your lifetime, your heart will beat roughly 2.5 to 3 billion times, pumping about 55 million gallons of blood. You blink around 7.9 million times in a single year just to keep your eyes lubricated. And right now, literally as we go through this explainer, you're losing between 1.8 to 2.4 million skin cells every single hour. You are just a continuously running, self-replacing engine. Let's move down to the respiratory system and see how this builds into an architectural marvel. If you were to somehow unfold all the respiratory tubes in your lungs, which, by the way, split through 33 generations of bronchial branches, they would cover an entire tennis court. That's 50 to 75 square meters of surface area neatly folded inside your chest just to keep you oxygenated. And just to keep things in perspective, and honestly slightly gross, consider this: 90 bathtubs. That is the amount of saliva an average adult produces in a lifetime. That's about 7,400 gallons of spit, which really throws the massive, non-stop scale of your digestive system right into focus. Finally, we reach part 4, the hidden math of walking. For this final segment, we're zooming in from macroscopic body facts to the totally invisible, subconscious source code our bodies run just to let us move. The crucial takeaway here is that walking isn't just putting one foot in front of the other. According to what's known as the optimal control model of walking, every single step you take is a highly complex biological calculation. Your brain is subconsciously selecting movement trajectories designed to expend the absolute least amount of metabolic energy possible. Behind the scenes, your brain is essentially doing real-time calculus. It calculates how to minimize your metabolic energy by controlling what physicists call muscle yank, which is basically a measure of how quickly your force changes. Your body is doing intense, real-time physics to make sure you don't waste even a single drop of energy. To actually solve that energy puzzle, the nervous system uses what physicists call the Lagrangian method. You can think of it kind of like a biological GPS. It instantly plots the absolute path of least resistance for your torso and your swing foot during every single fraction of a stride. Researchers also look at this through something called the Hamiltonian method, which gives us a conserved pool of energy represented by the Greek letter psi. Simply put, your walking gait isn't just some casual habit. It's tightly bound by strict physical laws and advanced calculus that's being perfectly executed by your biology. To summarize the core thesis of all this incredible biomechanics research, the scientists state, we adopt the principle that human movements are optimal and develop a general model for human movement patterns that uses variational methods. That's a fancy way of saying your body is a brilliantly tuned machine, completely optimized for movement through advanced mathematics that you don't even have to think about. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought. If your brain subconsciously executes complex calculus just to walk across a room, what else is it optimizing without you even knowing? Thank you so much for exploring the miracle machine with me today. Keep asking questions and keep exploring.